How many games will the Atlanta Falcons win in 2026? What's going on, guys and Falcons fans? It's your boy Man Jones here, back with another NFL record prediction. And this time we'll be predicting the 2026 Atlanta Falcons record prediction for the NFL 2026 season. We're going to get started here. I'm going to go game by game picks and game by game analysis to see which games that I think the Falcons are going to win and which games that I think the Falcons are going to lose. So before I give you my record prediction for the Atlanta Falcons for a 2026 NFL season, don't forget to put a thumbs up to like the video, subscribe to my channel more often, and comment down your opinion below to see how good do you think the Falcons will be. Do you think the Falcons are going to be a good team? Do you think they're going to win the division or make the playoffs, or do you think they're going to miss out in the playoffs? Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. So week 1, they get things kicked off against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, I could totally see this game going either way, but I know most people could be picking the Falcons to win on all that, but I'm going with the Steelers. And the reason for it is that the Steelers are the more complete team. They're at home, and I just really think the Steelers have better weapons on offensively, like DK Metcalf, Darnell Washington, Michael Pittman. They got Firemouth, and they got Rico Dowell out of the backfield. Like, Steelers got a lot of weapons on offense, and I really think the offense can make more plays. And they pretty much do have the better defense as well, which I think they'll get more stops. And I just don't see how the Falcons are going to be able to move the ball against them, because even last time when these two teams played, the game was in Atlanta, and the Steelers ended up winning this game. But it was by field goals. And I just really think that the Steelers, they do have the secondary to match up well with the Falcons' weaponry, and they do have the pass rush to get after their the Falcons as well. So yeah, and on top of that, the Steelers got the better quarterback. They're at home, and they're the more complete team. So yeah, that's pretty much why. Then week 2, they got their home opener. They got to play against the Carolina Panthers. Obviously, I think the Falcons will split with the Panthers, so I'm giving the Falcons to win here because, they're going to want revenge because after last year, Carolina did sweep you guys, but I kind of feel like this year, I feel like you're going to win one game against them. So, yeah, especially Atlanta's at home in this game. So, yeah. So, I think Atlanta does have the better run game in my opinion. So, I feel like Bijan Robinson is probably going to cook things up, though, in this game. And I feel like this matchup, he's going to have a good game. And Atlanta does have a young defense, like I said. I mean, Carolina will be I feel like they're going to be decent this year. I mean, like, their defense is much improved, but their offensive line is much improved and all that. But, yeah, I feel like in this game, I think Atlanta will win, especially they have a better coaching staff in this game, why I think Atlanta will win. Then week 3, they have to play on the road against the Green Bay Packers on a Thursday night short week in Lambeau Field. This is if Micah Parsons is going to play, but even if he's not, I'm still leaning towards Green Bay winning because Green Bay is an overall better team, better quarterback, better coaching, and on top of that, they just got more weapons on offense and on defense as well, which I think their defense will make more stops, which they pretty much have a better defense than the Falcons. And the Packers have a better O-line. They have better receiving threat. And I just don't think the Falcons defense is going to be able to go toe-to-toe against the Packers offense. So I feel like the Packers offense will stay balanced. And I kind of really feel like, Josh Jacobs can have a good game. I feel like the receivers of Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Tucker Kraft can have a good game as well. Like, I just don't see how the Falcons defense is able to cover those guys. And I just don't really think that they're going to have an answer for Josh Jacobs as well. I think he could totally run all over your defense. So, yeah, and I feel like Matt LaFleur, he's a good play caller. He's going to scheme things up against the Falcons defense. So, yeah, I feel like this game will be a lot closer. It could be, but I feel like Green Bay is going to win this game on the road at home. Then week 4, they got to play against the New Orleans Saints on that Monday night. In New Orleans, I actually think the Saints are gonna split with the Falcons this year. So I'm gonna say the the Saints win the first matchup because the Saints are at home in this game, and I just think the Saints pretty much have a better defense in this game as well, which I think they could do enough to stop the run, force mistakes and turnovers, and offensively, I think they could do enough to at least move the ball. Like now the Saints got Travis Etienne, I feel like they can run the football, and I feel like they don't really have a vertical passing game. We know their offense is not as good, but I just really feel like Tyler Shuck is going to have a better performance in this game. So yeah, so I think the Saints are going to win this game. Then week 5, they got to play versus the Ravens at home. This is on a Sunday night. I actually lean towards Baltimore winning. So I got the Ravens winning because the Ravens are just a much more complete team and have the better quarterback. And I just feel like Lamar is just going to be too much for your defense, which I don't really think the Falcons defense is going to be able to go toe-to-toe against the Ravens offense because I just don't think they're going to have an answer for Derrick Henry or Zay Flowers or Mark Andrews because I don't think you guys have I don't think Atlanta really has like much of a defense that can really get after Lamar or like get after the weapons or the running back. So I feel like the Ravens offense is going to have a lot of time to move the ball, stay balanced, and Atlanta defense does struggle against mobile quarterbacks. So yeah, and the Ravens pretty much do have a better defense in my opinion. So I think I kind of really feel like the Ravens I feel like their pass rush is much improved, so I think they'll find a way to get after you, and I think they're gonna force you to throw the ball, run the ball, and then which Atlanta's not gonna do that. So I think they're gonna. So I feel like the Ravens pass rush is probably gonna have a lot of time, and it's gonna be a handful. And I think as long as they contain Bijan Robinson, they should be fine. And they do got good corners in the secondary that can really cover against Drake London and Kyle Pitts as well. So yeah, I mean, I want to see the Falcons win this game at home, but I feel like the Ravens are just a much more complete team overall, and they're more stable at the quarterback positions, which is why I got the Ravens winning. Then week 6, they play another home game against the Bears. This is a game right here that can definitely go either way, but I am picking the Bears to win because the Bears are just a much more complete team, and I feel like they got the better quarterback. Look, I feel like Caleb is better than Tua in my opinion, and he's better than Penix too. And I just really think that the Bears offensively is going to stay balanced, and Ben Johnson, he's going to put up a good game plan against Atlanta's defense. And I kind of really feel like the Bears do got weapons on offense on the outside, like Kyle Monangai, DeAndre Swift. Like they have 2 running backs in these guys. And then they got weapons on the outside that can really give Atlanta's defense problem, like Colson Loveland. They got to deal with Roma Dunze, Luther Burton. Like those guys are probably going to be a challenge. And the Bears defense may not be as good, but Dennis Allen, when he was the head coach of the Saints, he really beat the Falcons. And the Saints really beat the Falcons that year. So I feel like Dennis Allen's defense will put up a good plan against the Falcons offense. So yeah. So I just don't really see how the Falcons are going to be able to manage the game, are going to be able to do much offensively. And I just don't think they're going to do much defensively to get stops. I feel like Caleb is going to dice up your secondary, and he's going to do enough as well. So, yeah, I think the Bears win that game. Then week 7, they got to play at home against San Francisco 49ers. This is another game that can definitely go either way. But at the same time, I can see Atlanta winning. But I'm going with the Niners here because I just think the Niners are just a much more complete team, have the better coaching staff, better quarterback. And I just don't really think the Falcons defense is going to have answers for the Niners pass catchers. Because I kind of really feel like that the pass catchers of I just think the pass catchers of Mike Evans, Ricky Pearsall, and George Kittle are just going to be too much for your defense. And I just think McCaffrey might be too much for your defense. So I think the Niners' offense is going to be a handful. And their pass rush is going to be a handful as well as too, which I think they'll find a way to get pressure and all that. and I just really don't think Atlanta's offensively is going to be able to move the ball against them. So, which I kind of really think that is going to be a struggle for them. And they're going to force you to pass the ball. They're going to force you to run the ball on them, which they're not going to do that. And Niners got better weapons on offense, and they just got better offense, and they're more better on the offense and on defense. And I remember that I feel like this is going to be a little bit of revenge game for Raheem Morris because he was the head coach of the Falcons. But I think he's going to have a good game plan against Atlanta's Falcons offense. So, yeah, and I feel like Kyle's going to have answers for the Falcons defense as well. So, yeah, so I think the Niners win that game there. Then week 8 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think the Bucs are going to split with the Falcons. So I'm giving the Bucs a win here in Tampa because the Bucs are at home. They got the better quarterback. I think, I feel like, the Bucs might take a step back this year. I mean, they don't really have, like offensively, I mean, they lost Mike Evans, and then their defense so far, it may not be the same because they lost a few guys. But I feel like this game, I feel like the Bucs feel like Baker is gonna like outplay the Falcons. So yeah, I think the Falcons win. Feel like the Bucs win that game. Then week 9 they got to play against the Bengals, which is in Madrid, but it feels like a home game for the Falcons though. But I actually feel like it can go either way. I mean, I would like to see Atlanta win, but I'm going with the Bengals here because I just really think the Bengals are just a much more complete team. They have the better quarterback. They have the better coach. I mean, and they're just a much more complete team. And I just really don't think that, the Falcons defense is going to go toe to toe with the Bengals because the Bengals got weapons on offense like Jamar Chase, T. Higgins that can really give the Falcons defense a lot of problems. So I don't think the Falcons defense will have answers for that. And I feel like Joe Burrow can do enough to slice and dice up your secondary. And I just really think that the Bengals defense is much improved. I feel like their defense can make more plays. And I feel like they'll make more stops. And they did get better on the defensive line and the secondary, which I think they'll get more stops. So yeah, and I feel like Burrows is going to outplay the Falcons. So yeah, I mean they got better offense as well and more weapons. So yeah, which why I think the Bengals are going to win this game though. But I wouldn't be shocked if Atlanta like pulls off a major upset though. So yeah. But I think the Bengals are going to find a way to pull this one off. Then week 10, they got to play at home versus Kansas City Chiefs. I actually got the Chiefs winning this game because the Chiefs are the more complete team, better quarterback, better coaching staff. And the Chiefs pretty much got better defense overall. Like, I just feel like, I don't see how the Falcons are going to be able to move the ball successfully. And I just really think that the Chiefs defense, they're gonna roll the box, they're gonna stop the run and all that. So yeah, I think they're gonna do that. And and I just don't really see, and I just don't really think that feel like the Falcons are gonna go toe to toe with the Chiefs. I feel like the Chiefs offense, even though they don't have a lot of good weapons on offense, I feel like Mahomes can totally take advantage of a defense that's not really good, and Kelsey could be a problem for that. Rasheed Rice could be a problem. Worthy can be a problem, and also Kenneth Walker could be a problem too. Which I think he can run all over. You. Feel like he can run over your defense. Which I don't think the Falcons defense will have an answer for that. And I feel like Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, they're just gonna have answers for it. So yeah, so I think that Spags, he's gonna put a good plan to shut down Stefanski's offense. So yeah, I think the Chiefs go into Atlanta and win that game. And then they get a bye week 12. And after the bye week, they have to play on the road against the Minnesota Vikings. in Minnesota. I kind of remember this game from last year where the game was in Minnesota and the Falcons did beat them in Minnesota, which they pretty much did. So that's something you got to remember. And that's when the Falcons did beat the Vikings down. And that was through their defense, confusing the Vikings offense. But I think Minnesota's going to get the revenge and win this game because I feel like they're going to want revenge on the Falcons because of what Atlanta did, which they did beat them last year, like I said. So I feel like this year, I feel like the Vikings will pull this one off. And the Vikings pretty much, they're at home, and the Vikings pretty much have a better defense. Brian Flores is a challenge, so I feel like he's going to send a lot of heat to this Falcons offense. And Kevin O'Connell is a really good offensive play caller, so he'll find a way to scheme things up on the Falcons defense. And I just feel like the Vikings are just a much more complete team. They're at home and have the better. And I feel like, the Vikings, I just really feel like Kyler Murray is going to be too much for your defense, and which you feel like he's going to run all over you because he can make plays. And the Vikings do got some weapons on offense that can really get the Falcons defense problem, which I don't think they'll have an answer for Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, Jordan Addison, or Jawan James. Those guys are gonna have a good game. And the Vikings run game may not be good, but I feel like Aaron Jones and Jordan Addison can. So I feel like they can get their run game going. So yeah. So overall, I think the Vikings win this game. Especially in Minnesota where it's a tough place to play at. So yeah. And then they play versus the Detroit Lions. Week 13, they play versus the Detroit Lions. Obviously, I think the Lions win this game. The Lions are just like the much more complete team. They have the better quarterback, better coaching staff. And I just really think that, I just really feel that, the Lions have more talent. Like, I just don't think the Falcons defense will go toe to toe with the Lions because the Lions do got some weapons on offense that they can really get the Falcons defense problem. Like, they got to deal with Jahmyr Gibbs. They got to deal with Amon-Ra St. Brown. And they got to deal with Sam Laporta and Jamison Williams. I just don't think the Falcons defense is going to be able to cover those guys. And I feel like Jahmyr Gibbs can totally have a good game and he can really like run all over your defense. And the Lions, I understand their defense is kind of weaker, but they're very good and they can stop the run, they can stop the fast. Like they got corners that can really like man up against the Falcons receivers. They got a pass rush that can really get after you and all that. Like, and they're good at stopping the run. So yeah, and like they're gonna like force you to do that, and I don't think they're gonna force you to move the ball on them, which I don't think they're gonna do that. So yeah. So either way, I feel like this game will be close and be competitive. But I just don't see how the Falcons are going to be able to keep up with the Lions because the Lions have a high-powered offense. So, and the Lions' offense will make more plays, and I think their defense gets more stops, so which why I think the Lions win that game. And then next game, Week 14, they have to play on the road against the Browns. Now, the Browns is a tough one. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, the Browns have an offense. I mean, the Browns might take a step back this year. I mean, they might get worse on defense because they lost their defensive coordinator. They lost Myles Garrett, and they brought in Jared Verse to replace him. Their offensive line made improvements. The defense, like the offense, like their receiving core did improve in the draft, but I don't think it's that great. And they don't have a great run game. Their quarterback situation is bad compared to Atlanta's. So I could definitely see this game going either way. I mean, I can see a point where the Browns win this game. Even playing in Cleveland is tough because their defense is good at home. But I am going to go with the Falcons here because I just think the Falcons offensively can stay balanced. And I just really think the Falcons defense can do enough to like confuse the Browns offense because the Browns cannot run the football and they cannot throw. And I feel like, the Falcons feel like Jeff Ulbrich can do enough to like shut the Browns offense down because I like Ty Munkin and he can call an offense, but I just don't know if the Browns offense is going to be able to like do that and move the ball on them. I kind of really trust Atlanta's offense more, and I kind of trust Tua to make more plays than Deshaun because I feel like Deshaun may not be good enough to get it done. And yeah, so I think the Falcons, I think they win that game for sure. But I would not be surprised if the Browns won. Then week 15 they have to play on the road against Washington Commanders. I got the Commanders winning. The Commanders are the more complete team. They have the better quarterback, and they have the better coaching. And I just think they feel like they have better offense as well. And I feel like I don't think the Falcons defense is gonna have an answer for Terry McLaurin. And I feel like Terry McLaurin is gonna have a good game and all that. So yeah, so yeah, and I just feel like, the Commanders defense may not be as good, but I think Dan Quinn can do enough with his scheme on defense to shut down the Falcons offense. So yeah, and I feel like Jaden Daniels is going to be too much for your defense. And then, like I said, the Falcons are bad against mobile quarterbacks. So yeah, so I feel like Washington, they should be able to win that game for sure. So yeah, and then week 16 they play at home versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I feel like on a Saturday, which I think the Falcons, I feel like they're going to split with the Bucs. So I'm going to give the Falcons a win here because normally they'll just play the Bucs tough. And even last year the Bucs did beat them with Kirk Cousins, which that's something you got to remember. So yeah. Then week 17 they got to play at home versus New Orleans Saints. I think they'll split with the Saints, so I'll give the Falcons a win right here because I think the Falcons they usually play the Saints tough. So yeah. So yeah, and especially even though I think the Saints are going to be a better team this year, I mean, the Falcons sometimes usually play them tough, like almost every year. So, yeah, I feel like this game, I feel like, Tua is going to outduel Tyler Shuck. So, yeah. And then last game, week 18, they play versus Carolina Panthers. I feel like they'll split the Panthers, and I think that's going to be a win right here for the Panthers. So, yeah, which I think the Panthers are going to be a better team than the Falcons this year because they have better quarterback play as well. So yeah, and so yeah, which is why I think Carolina will win. And I feel like they have the more complete defense as well, which I think they'll make more plays. So yeah. So overall, I have the Atlanta Falcons going 4-13, which that's not pretty good, and it's pretty much disappointing for Falcons fans. I mean, 3-3 in division, 3-9 in conference, 3-6 at home, 1-7 away. I mean, not. I mean, it's not looking good at all. But so yeah, when you look at this schedule, I mean, it's very tough. I mean, they have to play the Steelers, they have to play the Ravens, the Bengals, like the best, a good NFC North division, AFC North division. They even got to play the best division in football, which is the NFC North, which is the Packers, Bears, Lions, and Vikings. They even got to play the Niners. Like that's a tough schedule right there. Like, like I said, I can totally see the Falcons being as bad as 3-14 or 2-15. Like, yeah, because or maybe I can totally see them at least winning one of these games. Like I can totally see them beat the Ravens, beat the Bears or the Niners. I can see them beat the Bengals or maybe the Chiefs or maybe like the Lions or something like that. So like yeah, but I feel like the Falcons are better than 4 wins in my opinion. But I just don't really think they're gonna win that many games because I still have questions on their quarterback. I feel like their quarterback situation is bad. I don't know who's gonna compete for the starting job between Tua or Penix. And I like the Kevin Stefanski hire. I feel like he's a really good play caller and he can run an offense and call plays, but I don't think he has a quarterback to function it. And I feel like their offensive line is pretty much the same. It's pretty solid. I mean, their receiving core outside of Drake London and Kyle Pitts ain't good. I love Bijan Robinson. He's a stud. And I feel like their run game will be the same, but their defense is pretty young, but it's a question mark though. I like that they bring back Olbrich because he was really good for them, which I feel like that's a huge plus for them. But the defense looks young, but they lost some pieces though. I still think they need to improve it a little bit more. I feel like they really need, linebacker help. Their D line is okay. I mean, their D line may not be good, but they're young there. Their secondary is young. Like, yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I feel like 4-13 sounds about right for the Falcons, but I hope the Falcons prove me wrong. But I feel like 4-13 is my record for them for 2026. So yeah. So you let me know in the comments section below what you guys think. Like, do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Like, or you think I'm crazy? Like, just let me know in the comments section below what you guys think. It's Emmanuel Jones, I'm a big fan. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. You can see more of my NFL record prediction videos from my playlist, or you can view all my videos that I posted here on my channel. But thank you guys for tuning in and watching. See you guys later. Peace.